Right, so joining us in studio now is the SABC News reporter Hasina Gori, who of course was in court earlier. Hasina, good afternoon and thanks for joining us at this hour. Perhaps you could walk us through what transpired today. Let's start at the inquiry.
So currently we know that the inquiry was set up last year following the August fire that took place, that deadly fire. The Premier then asking for an inquiry to be set up so that they can ascertain what exactly took place, but who also should be held responsible for this fire that took place, because one of the concerns and criticism has been that that building was derelict, it was left abandoned, and it was also the city of Johannesburg's property and a building. So it was a issue of who should be held liable. We saw the commission taking place, and starting last year, it was postponed at first for the venue to be confirmed, and then we saw another indefinite postponement last year, and that was for one of the commissioners to be recused. SERI, which was one of the organizations that were party to the commission, asked for for one of the commissioners to recuse himself because of his tweets, specifically around xenophobia, and and they felt that he would not be biased in that case. That ruling happened. The commissioner was then removed. We saw the matter then being seated and being heard in the commission over the last few weeks. And this week, Monday, one of the witnesses who was interviewed in camera, which means no media was allowed to record it, testified, saying that he was responsible for the fire that began. He had killed someone allegedly and was trying to dispose of the body. He went through the details of how he went and found the petrol and then dousing it and starting that fire in the early hours, claiming he was working under the orders of drug lords in that area. These are kind of sentiments we've heard being told of the criminal activities within these kind of buildings that were havens for a lot of criminal activities. So this happened on Monday. On Tuesday, we heard then the commission come in ruling on whether or not testimony and evidence that were given in this inquiry could be inadmissible or admissible. They ruled it was inadmissible, could not be used alone by the police or any other investigations. The accused, the 29-year-old, then was arrested on Tuesday. Yesterday, we're told that he then gave a confession as well in front of a magistrate as well. He then appeared today for the first time, facing the charges and officially being charged. As you outlined some of those charges, he's been charged with arson, murder of all those who had been killed in that fire, but also attempted murder of all those who were injured in this incident that took place. That's basically where we're at right now. The matter then postponed again for next week to allow for further investigations and evidence to be collected.
Because now also the question about seeking redress for the individual that had passed away at the hands of Usindiso comes to the fore. What also emerged on that front?
So it's uncertain yet on who exactly that person, who was the person in that killing specifically. I think that we'll see go through when we go through the trial process of the identification of that person and who he was. According to what we're hearing, from just the testimony and what we know unofficially as yet, Usindiso also telling the commission that this is not the only body that was in that building. It also for the court to decide whether or not he's truthful in his testimony, whether he was coerced into saying these things. He did admit to be under substance as well. So that also would be taken into account, whether or not his testimony can be taken at face value.
For the victims, what are their living conditions like? What makeshift plans have also been put in place? How are they faring?
As we know, that building had housed thousands. There was no official numbers given that it was a hijacked building, a derelict building. We know unofficially at least 400 or 500 people left homeless. They were first kept by government shelters, moved to Hoffman Center, which was in Bez Valley. Some of them moved to other shelters throughout Johannesburg. Some found themselves on the street. And there was an official temporary shelter situation that was created that was in Denver. And we've seen it over the last few weeks. There were concerns when they were moved there. The Human Rights Commission came through and did a walkthrough to ensure that the place was habitable. But we've seen in the last few weeks, given the rainfall that we've experienced in Gauteng, that they were flooded once again. So again, these people that were displaced, already living in squalor, already living in conditions that were inhumane, once again going through that same emotional trauma and the similar kind of conditions.
Hasina, I know that you're saying the inquiry is postponed till next week, so we're obviously going to monitor developments from here too. But thank you for that update at this hour. Hasina Gori is a reporter. She was attending the court appearance of the Usindiso fire suspect and obviously also following the inquiry that is underway.